Hello guys, welcome back to my channel where we teach you everything you need to learn around music with simple language that anybody can understand. Today I will be discussing with you a topic around music exploits. I want to explain certain few reasons why a lot of persons are under exploiting the potentials of music, either as choristers or as musicians who play instruments, or those who perform for singing, or those who actually go into music for dance. In general, why do people exploit music potentials at a very low margin? Now, I have come to understand that as a child, music is seen more like fun, a prayer activity, or some sort of activity for entertainment. Now, to me then, as a child, I was thinking that music is more like a communal activity that requires no skill, but just to participate at different levels, either as age grade, schoolmates, or some kind of prayer group. You use music to keep your activities going. However, with regards to entertainment, even at that time as a child, I understand very well that certain arts and creativity is needed to make your performance stand out. But it had never occurred to me then that there are some kind of method that are put in place or followed in process that can allow you get the best of identical result even when repeated over and over again. So like many people, I used to think that it is not a course that is worthy of studying. The Nigerian case even made the matter worse, where we see people who call themselves performers in the industry looking like rastas, people who behave as a no mentally stable people. You see them dressed in a very tattered way or dance almost naked. So we grew up to understand that music is for people who are just that so wayward, let me use that word, to make it look like an entertainment for the corrupt mind. But this whole idea changed, and with my current understanding, I feel I should share that a lot need to be understood about music so that one can potentially get the best out of it. And in this, I will be discussing with you now one of the first and foremost thing that people have in mind is the impression that music is just a thing to open your mouth and sing or strike instruments to play. And to some, they hold this view that there is this poor level of wanting to know what constitutes music. A lot of persons do not have that interest in knowing what and what did ABC put together in order to make their music what they are. Then there is also this quick conclusion that because I have known this, so I don't need to repeat it again, I can just progress to the next. So we jump processes. Again, we have discovered that lack of discipline, actually not only for music, but lack of discipline generally can limit one's potentials in music generally, and even in other areas of life. Now, the just sing or play mentality or mindset. First, we understand that there's a place for musical talent. Yes, we agree, where some individuals exhibit certain unimaginable potentials in music performance and unique expressions of the art. We agree. However, having raw talent does not simply translate to skills. Skills are developed, skills are built, skills are things that stands you out. Skills are what makes your learning very systematic, and your teaching will also be systematic. So, if musical skills are not acquired through a structured approach, I can tell you that it will come to a point where a lot of difficulties will be experienced. Example is, you have difficulties in learning, you have difficulties in teaching same thing that you claim you know, you have difficulties in keeping your posture the right way. As you keep advancing, health cases will start setting in because of what? Wrong posture. And then you have difficulty in expressing the art in the right way that communicate the real meaning of the song you are portraying. You have difficulty in maintaining certain level of discipline. Why? Because you are acquiring the skills in the wrong way. I don't know how many of you have seen those who play keyboard. Because of the wrong finger technique they use, you see them not being able to carry out some kind of other genres of music effectively well. Now, no matter how good a person can be, no matter how good you are about what you think you as a result of talent can portray in music, I tell you, there would always be that level of limitations. Your potentials will be limited. You can't go beyond certain level. Now, it does not mean that if you have gone to school or passed through a formal structure where you learn the right way, learning the skill in a structured system, that you cannot make mistake. No, you still have some flaws that can be pointed at, but you'll be better off when compared to someone who did not actually pass through such structured process. So instead of assuming that it is just to open mouth and sing, or open mouth, to bring out sound that you call music, then you should also think of it the other way around by asking, why not do it with the right posture? Why not apply the right techniques? That way, these struggles that you are passing through, you will be better. So, knowing the skill correctly can save your learning time and your teaching time. It can keep your health in good states. And it's even safe for you because it will save you a lot of embarrassment and disgrace in public. So if you consider music as a very serious career, I tell you, you begin to think big. You begin to imagine the bigger picture of what truly music is, and your performance cannot but get better. Now, the next other thing I want you to try to work out your mind from is not knowing what constitutes music. You see, you can never make a good musician if you cannot dissect the music component very well. And to doing this, I want to tell you that a lot of people, a lot of persons simply think or assume music to be just that finished product. I mean, music is to many that thing that is pleasant to the ear. But the question is, what did they put in place to do that? Now, this explains why some people are so biased about their judgment of what to call music or sound that they are considering to be pleasant. When one man begins to sing a song that is enjoying, the rapper and say, "You're making noise," probably because it's not in resonance with the genre, or he doesn't want to flow along. They don't say pop music, pop music is the best, no, church music is the best. Everyone's just trying to defend the side they like. But if truly you have taken time to actually understand the component, you will use different ear at different point in time to listen to what you're listening to. Why? Each of them has the component that makes them unique and good in their own ways. However, if you take time to know what constitutes music, you will listen to almost all kinds of music to identify what you want to hear beyond the surface sound. Such knowledge also puts you in better position to compose better songs, better music, whether it is instrumental, whether it is vocal, including dance rhythms. You can create them now with some level of theories put in place. So in elementary music theory, music is something that is made up of things like the note or the pitch, the key, the rhythm and beats, the melody, harmony, time, tempo, form, dynamics, accent, and the likes. A whole lot of all of these are put together, to constitute the entire music that you can hear as a pleasant sound. At the end of the day, when you're not listening to music, you want to know if those components are truly well represented. Now, knowing how all these elements are combined to make music is a skill that should be taken very seriously. So it's not sort of just wake up and say, because you belong to one group, then, you are in a music choral group, you're a musician. For that reason, you have flair, you can now pick some lyrics and begin to put them into sound. And no. Going beyond that, you can explore more and do better if you deeply put yourself in knowing those components. And it's interesting to know that some of these components have been listed here. They also have sub-components under them that need to be well understood. Such knowledge will make you consciously and creatively create music that will be more aesthetically appealing to hear. Now, it is obvious that one who knows much about a food recipe will cook better food than one who knows little or nothing about food recipe. So when you want to go to the kitchen for a particular menu, you know what to do. Why? Because a lot of information are at your disposal. Another error that people commit, or assumption or character that limits their potential in music, is jumping to learning process. When you jump learning process, definitely what you are learning will not be complete. So most common problem with delivering the act well is because people jump process during learning. A good number of persons lack the patience to learn through the right process. They are just in a hurry. Oh, come and teach me how to play music. You are teaching them scale. No, they are in a hurry to start playing the music. Any melody that comes to that, they just want to start playing. So, no, you're wasting time in the scale. Okay, I've learned the scale already. How about being able to play the scale on all the keys? How about using the scale to form chord? How about having those scales to run at different level, ascending, descending, different ways, just to make sure that what? Your fingers are much flexible. Now, music is an exercise of the body which is made up of muscle. The entire body is made up of muscle. And if you're using your body to carry out this art, you definitely need to stand very agile. So, it will interest you to know that whether you're a vocalist or you're an instrumentalist or a dancer, there is always the need to seriously warm up your entire body system before you go into the singing or the dancing or the playing of the instrument. This is because you use your body muscles to perform the act. Even things like the scale need to be practiced over and over. So if you are playing instrument and your hands are not flexible with the scale, there's problem. If you're blowing the trumpet and your tip cannot actually tip the sound very well, there's problem. Likewise, saxophone. So virtually everything, including vocals, at the end of the day, if you're able to do the scale exercise very well, when you are now going to be singing or playing the song, it will interest you that a whole lot of things that is being put together to make that music will involve the scale, and you get to do better. Now, next other thing is what? The discipline. A lot of persons don't have discipline in the act at all. So when discipline is lacking in a thing, I tell you, you will get no good results. So discipline is key in all things, not just music. One who lacks discipline cannot do well in music career at all. Those who don't have regular set timetable for their learning, or they have less time to commit themselves into a dedicated learning, how do you expect their result to be very productive? No, it cannot be. So music is not just a simple art that you just climb the stage, you start singing because you feel you can sing. No, it goes far beyond that. So some of the few things you need to do that can build your discipline level and lifestyle, which will mean so much to your music career, would include having a set regular time for rehearsals, self-practice. Yes, take some time to also analyze the music before you start singing or playing. Yes, it helps. So the brain will be prepared. Now, sing or play or walk with the balanced level of shoulder, posture. It matters. It matters a lot, especially when you are into classical music. You need to work on your postures very well. Even if you are in the pop music, there are kinds of posture that also suit your performance in that light as well. Then you talk about having the discipline that has to do with being hydrated. You need to be very, very moist in your throat, in your entire body system. You need to stay very hydrated as a performer, as a singer, as an instrumentalist, as a dancer. Drink water regularly. Now, you need to also have the discipline to respect other people's level of musicianship. Yes, you need to respect people for their level of gifts, their level of the art. It has a lot to do with your career generally. Then you need to at least have a mentor. This is just few, but at least it will model your life and channel you towards something. And then, to tell you the truth, I may not be able to list all of these things that I feel you should know, but these 4 items I list to you, put them to practice. Take a moment and see how they affect your general music life. You will see that you will not remain the same. So anybody can become a great musician if he or she so wishes, but it requires more than just belonging to a singing group. You need to be very curious and intentional about knowing more about what you're doing. Then create time to practice and develop yourself personally, not just as a group, but as an individual. You should have as many mentors as possible, especially in different areas of the music skills that you have interest on. And then you should try as much as possible to travel and attend different programs. This has a way of making you better because you have something to compare or critique. This is how you become a better musician as you grow by the arts. So, my fellow brothers, my friends, my followers, I want to tell you something, that music is not as ordinary as you have seen it. And if truly you have the desire to want to make your music go up to the next level, then you want to consider putting yourself into these places I've tried to design for you and see how you develop your art to become better in what you're doing. At the comment section, I want you to tell me, what do you think about this content and how has it affected your mindset? I would love to get that feedback from you. Learning with Lecturer 30 is something you will never regret to. See you at the next video. Bye-bye.